In recent years, Johnny Depp has become as much a subject of public scrutiny for his off-screen life as for his cinematic achievements. With remarks in interviews that touch on his defamation trial with Amber Heard, his relationship to Hollywood, fame, and the Me Too movement, Depp is increasingly repositioning his public persona. This article will trace key themes from his latest comments, analyze their implications, and assess how they may reflect broader shifts in celebrity culture and the film industry. Facing the aftermath of the trial and interviews dating from mid-2024 through 2025, Depp has repeatedly reflected on the fallout from the highly publicized defamation trial with Amber Heard, in which he claimed damage to his reputation and career. Key remarks. Depp called himself a crash test dummy for Me Too, suggesting that his case served as a cautionary tale for how the movement has applied to men in the industry. He observed that many people around him, including longtime associates, quietly distanced themselves or did him dirty during the trial and its aftermath. He said each has their story. I'm all right. Regarding his high-profile experiences, he likened his life to a televised soap opera. Analysis. These statements highlight a few things. Victim narrative shift. By positioning himself as a casualty of wider cultural forces, e.g., Me Too cancel culture, Depp is recasting the discourse from accused to affected. Isolation theme, emphasizing loss of trust, betrayal by insiders, and the personal cost of public conflict underscores the emotional toll of celebrity litigation. Public spectacle critique. The soap opera metaphor draws attention to how intensely his private life was made public, raising questions about media ethics, celebrity privacy, and how industries manage reputational risk. Redefining his relationship to Hollywood and fame. Depp's recent remarks also reflect a recalibration of his stance toward Hollywood and what he wants to do next. Key remarks at the Cannes Film Festival in 2023. He stated he had no further need for Hollywood. Euronews +1. He said he never chased fame and that his goal wasn't popularity or pleasing the masses. The Times of India. On industry scrutiny. When I saw fear in studio executives, that fueled me. If they weren't worried, then I'd feel I wasn't doing my job enough. The News International analysis independence over conformity. By rejecting Hollywood's system and the notion of chasing fame, Depp signals a desire for autonomy and perhaps more niche artistic projects. Artistic identity over star identity. His comments suggest he values craft and expression over blockbuster status, a shift from his earlier career as a high-profile star. Rejection of studio-driven career path. The line about studios being worried suggests he perceives his creative instincts as threatening to traditional production models, perhaps intentionally so. Love. Relationships and self-reflection. Beyond his career and public battles, Depp has spoken more introspectively about love, relationships, and his past. Key remarks regarding his relationship with Amber Heard. He reflected on how he look in a person's eye and see some sadness, some lonely thing, and you feel you can help that person. He admitted his early notions of love were obtuse, and that because of his own upbringing, his expectations and behaviors in relationships were shaped by emotional analysis, emotional introspection. These admissions suggest Depp is trying to process his past behavior and how it impacted his relationships. It may be part of a broader attempt to reframe his personal narrative on his own terms. Softening public image. By sharing vulnerability rather than anger or defiance, he may be seeking empathy rather than adversarial posturing. Connection to public persona. The shift from flamboyant pirate roles to more layered self-exposure aligns with his career transition from blockbuster star to character actor, artist. Implications for career and public perception taking. Stock of these thematic strands. What do they imply for Depp's career, his legacy, and how the public may continue to view him? Career trajectory. Depp is signaling that he's no longer playing by the conventional Hollywood playbook. His upcoming work appears less about expectancy of major studio backing and more about projects aligned with his own values. For instance, his film Modi, 3 Days on the Wings of Madness, released 2023, and the announced Day Drinkers show a path less about box office dominance and more about personal fulfillment. The News International, by emphasizing he didn't actually go anywhere, contrary to narratives of a comeback, and that he has no further need for Hollywood, he is reframing the notion of career interruption as intentional rather than forced. Euronews +1 Legacy and Perception. The comments about being a crash test dummy for the Me Too and feeling betrayed by his inner circle raise complex questions. On one hand, they broaden the conversation to include the collateral damage of cultural movements and public trials. On the other, they may appear as deflection or resistance to accountability for his part in the controversies. The tone shift, from defiant celebrity to introspective, independent artist, may resonate with certain segments of his audience, especially those sympathetic to his legal victory, while alienating others who feel the remarks lack full acknowledgement of harm. His critique of media scrutiny and woke culture taps into a broader cultural moment of pushback against perceived cancel culture excesses. This could either reinforce his relevance or open him to deeper criticism, depending on public sentiment. Contextualizing within broader celebrity and industry trends, Depp's commentary does not occur in a vacuum. It reflects shifts in how celebrities manage brand, reputation, and creative control in the modern era. From star to brand to artist, the life cycle of major celebrities increasingly involves managing personal narratives, owning creative projects, and navigating platforms beyond traditional film studios. Depp's pivot mirrors this move. Cultural reckonings. In the era of modern Me Too, cancel culture, and social media scrutiny, celebrities are under greater pressure to address personal conduct and public perception. Depp's remarks indicate he recognizes this environment and is crafting a response. Public vulnerability as strategy. Rather than full damage control, many celebrities now engage in reflective, vulnerable narratives to rebuild trust and authenticity. Depp's self-analysis fits this model, for better or worse. Independent global film markets. Depp's work in France, e.g., Jean du Barry, and participation in art collectibles, his tarot-inspired collection, shows diversification away from Hollywood, a trend many established actors pursue to maintain relevance and creative freedom. Reuters inks critical considerations and unanswered questions. While Depp's remarks are noteworthy, they also invite scrutiny. Accountability versus victimhood. At what point does shifting the narrative from accused to victim risk minimizing systems of accountability? Depp's positioning as a casualty of culture may raise concern that he's reframing his experience without fully engaging with the harm alleged by others. Authenticity of change. Does the public interpret Depp's introspection as genuine self-examination or as another performance? His prior larger-than-life persona complicates this judgment. Career recuperation. Has his no further need for Hollywood stance become a mantra of empowerment or a resignation to diminished career opportunities? The answer will emerge as his future projects release and box office critical reception becomes available. Cultural climate adaptation. Depp's critique of woke culture and media scrutiny may resonate with some audiences but will likely alienate others. The degree to which he balances critique with humility will influence his long-term reputation. Conclusion. Johnny Depp's recent statements represent a pivot. From blockbuster actor embroiled in scandal to reflective figure recalibrating his relationship with fame, film, and his own story. He occupies a unique position. His legal victory gave him a form of vindication, yet the professional and personal costs remain high. By reframing his identity around autonomy, artistic control, and introspection, he signals a new phase in his career. The question remains whether this new narrative will hold, whether the public will accept his reframed persona, whether he can deliver work aligned with his stated values, and whether his legacy will transform as a result. In an era where celebrity is both magnified and dissected like never before, Depp's journey offers a case study in how stars adapt, or don't, to the shifting cultural and industrial landscape. In sum, Johnny Depp is no longer simply the actor who played iconic film roles. He is now part of a broader discourse about the intersection of fame, personal crisis, transformation, and the ever-evolving terrain of modern Hollywood. Whether he fully succeeds in reinventing himself remains to be seen, but his recent words make one thing clear. He's intent on having the narrative on his own terms. Friends, subscribe the channel, and I wish you good luck. You should take care of yourself.